Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about how to find domain and range from a graph. We did it yesterday from a table. All right, so first review, the domain is always the x values. And on a graph, x is always left and right, the left and right axis. Again, this is your x-axis here. All right, so 4 different possibilities for us today. We could have 2 arrows, one pointing left, one pointing right. If that happens, it means the graph goes forever in both directions, so the domain is all real numbers, and you can see the odd symbol that we use because we're going to get tired of writing the words all real numbers. So we can use this R symbol with a double stick on the left side. All right, second possibility. We could have an endpoint on the left at point A, whatever that is, and an arrow pointing to the right. If that happens, that means all of the answers are greater than or to the right of whatever number A is. There is nothing of the picture to the left of that dot, only things to the right. Now, if the dot is colored in or not colored in, that's important. If it's not colored in on the left-hand side, you can see the symbol is just a plain greater than. Where on the right-hand side, since the A dot is colored in, it's a greater than or equal to sign. All right, third choice. What if we have an endpoint on the right at point A, again, whatever number that happens to be, and the arrow is now pointing left? Well, what happens on this one is that our symbols just flip directions because the graph is all to the left of point A, so our greater than, less than symbol looks like it's pointing to the left. Same direction that the arrow is pointing, so there's a little shortcut for you. All right, now on the left we have one where A is not colored in, on the right where A is colored in, and again the difference is in the symbol. On the left, it'd be just less than. On the right, you'd use the less than or equal to. All right, now the weird one. What if there's 2 endpoints? There's no arrows at all. All right, well, if that happens, then what we want to do is we want to list where the endpoints are. The endpoint that's farther left is listed on the left. The endpoint that's farther to the right is listed on the right, and the X is in the middle, because the picture is in the middle of those 2 endpoints. And the arrows always point to the left on this one. All right, what about range? Well, with range, it works exactly the same except for y values, and y values are up and down counting numbers. So, if you have an arrow on the left or bottom and an arrow pointing up to the top, then the range is all real numbers. And again, if you would rather use that symbol, you can use that symbol. It's a double-sticked R. All right, next, what if you have a dot at the bottom but an arrow pointing up? Well, then that will be everything greater than, up above that symbol, or that point, that end point at A. So you'd write y greater than. Well, what if it's an arrow pointing down and an end point at the top? Well, then it just switches to less than. And notice the same thing happens. If the circle's not colored in, you don't use the or equal to. But on the third one here, where the circle is colored in, you do use the or equal to sign. Then last but not least, what if there's 2 endpoints? All right, same thing. That means that everything is in between the 2 endpoints. And we always want to list the lowest endpoint first and the highest endpoint at the back. All right, so it doesn't really matter anything other than you want the lower number first and the bigger number in the back. And then again, if the circles are colored in, you could put the or equal to sign in. And then on that one, the arrows always point left. All right, one last thing to talk about. We're going to ask ourselves, is it a function? Because some things aren't functions. We'll talk more about this in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, actually, as we continue with functions. All right, so if it's a function, it means we're going to use the vertical line test. So the vertical line test says this. If any vertical line hits the graph in 2 places at the same time, then it is not a function. So let's look at the examples down below. On the left, it's not a function because I can draw a straight up and down line, and every time I do it, I only hit the green line once. That's fine. But on this other one, if I draw a straight up and down line, you can see I hit the green line twice. That's bad. That makes something not a function. All right? So let's try some examples. All right, so first example. Directions say state the domain, state the range, and then determine if it's a function. So on the first one, part A, the domain, the D. All right, that means I'm going to be looking left or right, and I got an endpoint at both sides. So that means this one, the X, is going to be in the middle. Those endpoints are colored in, so I use the or equal to sign. The left endpoint is over here at -1. The right endpoint is over here at 1, 2, 3, looks like that's at 5. So that's range, left to right. All right, now let's look at, domain, left to right. Now let's look at the range. That's our up and down. All right, also have two endpoints, so it's going to be a Y in the middle. Arrows always point left when it's in the middle. The endpoints are colored in. And let's see, the lowest endpoint down here was at -1. The highest this thing got looks like it was at 3. So again, the blue one is the domain. That tells us how far we can go to the left or to the right. The red one is the range. It tells us how far things are going in the up and in the down direction. And then lastly, vertical line test. If I drew any vertical lines and any of them hit that black line up there twice at the same time, the answer is no. That means everything is good on this one. So yes, it's a function. Well, let's try a little bit different looking one. Well, let's try one like number 5. All right, first off, let's start with a domain. That's going to be our left and right direction. I don't see any arrows, so I'm looking, the farthest left it goes is here, the farthest right it goes there. So even though there's no dot there, that's what we mean by endpoints. It doesn't go past that. No arrows. So that means X is going to be in the middle. Now, there's no open circles, so it's the greater than or equal to sign, because it does hit there. And then how far left does that go? Let's count them over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like about 6 to the left. Am I counting right? Count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I got 6. So -6 on the left. And then to the right, it also looks like it's counting 6. +6 on the right. Now the range. Up and down. All right, now again, this one's got no arrows. That's as high up as it goes. That's as low down as it goes. Since it doesn't have any arrows, the Y goes in the middle. And the little symbols both point to the left. Now, in between what two numbers? Start with the lower number. The lower number looks to be, well, I can't really see it very well. Oh, it looks to be right on the x-axis. The lower number looks to be right on the x-axis at 0. And then up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it goes up 4 spaces is the top of that oval. So it's wedged there in between 0 and 4. And then is it a function? So if I drew a line through, would I hit twice at the same time? And the answer is yes, I did, which makes this not a function. All right, your assignment today is to do 5 or 6 of these same types of problems. So if you get stuck on one, you know how to get a hold of me to ask, or you could skip it as long as you get all the other ones done. But try to get as many as you can. Again, if you get stuck, it's okay. Either skip that one or get me on the Zoom and ask me. All right, good luck.